Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm coming to you with yet another acrylic paint marker review because I just can't seem to get enough of them. This time it's an Ohuhu set and it's called the Nahuku. I don't know if I'm saying it right, it doesn't matter. It's that Ohuhu set that's been floating around the internet. I wanted to try it. I have an addiction to art supplies. I realize I have a problem. Let's just move on with it. So, as you guys can see in the packaging, it's not toxic and it's like any other markers. You shake them, you prime them, and make sure you put the cap on. So let's open this up and see how pretty the colors are. The swatches on the back are never really going to be the same as when you actually put them down on paper. Speaking of paper, I am opening a brand new sketchbook that I've only done one illustration in before. I use the Just Art acrylic paint markers. I will link that up in a little card and down below. But today we are looking at the Ohuhu markers. So straight here, I'm really excited because there's a little instruction manual and you see the swatches, as well as you have a black and a white piece of paper to try the colors. I absolutely love that. I think it's a really smart feature and it's really handy to just have a general guide of how your colors are gonna look. But I personally prefer to have my own swatches versus what's been done with a printer. As you can see here, the markers are in the same order on the swatch sheet as they are placed inside the container, and at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, place them the way you want. Everything has a name and all you have to do is match up the little code to the swatch and there you have it. So I wanted to have a nice comparison and contrast, so I'm going to use my Ohuhu on the left side of the Just Art markers that I did. I have got my little swatch sheet and here I am ready to go. So over here, I'm just showing you guys the markers. It's non-toxic. We can see the name and the ink inside the barrel. I will compare it to the Just Art acrylic paint markers that I keep mentioning. Here are two colors that are similar in color, so that's why I am comparing them. The barrels are slightly different, but the way the ink flows out is very similar. You can see the ink on the inside. As you guys can see here, there's a little difference in the brush tip, and I'll get more into that later. But all the markers are becoming increasingly similar, and it's a question of preference. So right now I am using it on paper for real for the first time, and I've noticed that some colors are going to be juicier than others. I know you have to give them a little bit of time to get going and flowing. I just thought I would point it out. Something else that I've noticed is that the little brush tip is super flexible at the very tip. It's not the easiest to show on camera, and I'm going to do my best. Hi, hubby. So back to the markers over here. There's a great color range, and I'm enjoying them, but some colors, again, definitely juicier than others. And I'm hoping you guys can see what I mean about the tip of the nib being ultra flexible. I personally don't like it, and I found the only workaround for this is to really flick the marker and kind of really have the mentality if I am painting with these markers. And it's the only way to work around that super ultra flexible nib. Side note, I've noticed that these feel quite small in my hands, and I have small hands. So if you have bigger hands, just know that these markers are smaller than other markers, FYI. So over here, I am showing you guys a perfect example of just one layer versus two. You can see it right up there at the top corner. So you must layer. Back to layering, I find the colors layer very well on top of each other. You have to make sure you let the layers dry in between, or else the colors will definitely mix together. But if that's the look you're going for, that's perfectly fine, and it's up to you. So over here, I am mixing in different colors. I'm putting some stippling. My goal is to try to use every single color on this particular illustration. So I'm going for what I'm calling a cactus coral theme. I know it's kind of weird, but I have like this under the ocean cactus coral thing going, and believe it or not, I used every single color, and I'm really happy with it. I'm showing it to you guys like this right now, but at the end I'm gonna go outside in the sunlight so that you guys can really see the colors, even though the colors are showing up pretty well right now in this lighting. Now that my illustration on white paper's done, we're going to do some black paper work. But first, here are the swatches that I did in my sketchbook. So right away, I wanted to show you guys I did one layer on one side and another layer on the other side, and then one line was just one layer and the other line was 2 layers. I'm pretty sure you guys can figure it out with the transparency. I purposely went in with the black so that I could see how good the coverage was. I cleaned up some lines, and if you guys just pause the video, or if you're really observant, you guys can see the little bit of difference between a 2-layer and a 1-layer, and a 1 line and a 2 line. I just did this for me, for you, for us. I already had a little black paper, but I wanted something a little bit bigger and a little bit more comparison in my sketchbook. So that's what we did right here. Very happy with it. I love how all the colors are turning out. I find them very bright, vibrant, and beautiful. And again, I love that I can clean up lines with the black and it covers things nicely. So what I'm gonna do is move things along onto this side, and we are going to do an illustration and see just how well they do in actual real life. So if you guys don't let your layers dry, the paint will lift, but that's almost any acrylic paint marker. And just really let it dry, and then you'll eventually be able to cover it. That's also a reflection on the paper too. Different papers react a little bit differently also. So as you guys can see, little man woke up. I had to take a break, but 'tis life. So I don't know if you guys can tell what I'm drawing yet, and if you can, drop it in the comments, but if not, you're gonna see it really soon. The house is usually so full of people, I just have to do voiceovers. Makes it easier for everyone, but the house is quiet right now and baby's napping. So I'm able to continue this. So if you haven't guessed by now, I am doing a seahorse. You can't really see the outline right now, but I did that on purpose. I didn't want the outline to show. I didn't feel like using a white sketching pencil, and I didn't. But I did feel like stippling again. I liked how it worked on my coral cactus, and I'm in a coral under the sea theme. So there we go. I have a sea creature. I have a mess here. And it's a completely different day, and the baby actually woke up from a nap and then passed out right next to me, and it gave me a chance to finally finish my seahorse. I love how the whole thing turned out. I love how everything showed up on the paper. I love the stippling, and I love the finish that these acrylic paint markers give. In a few seconds here, I'm just going to tilt my sketchbook, and you guys will see the nice little finish it gives in the light. I did it on purpose to do a black outline, but I'll get to that a little bit later. But right now I'm just showing you guys a close-up to show how nicely it lays down on paper. And I layered up, and it's not streaky, guys. You'd expect it to be streaky, especially on black paper, but it's not. And yes, I did my famous little black outline. I like using black on black. It cleans up my illustration, and I just like the look. I really like to look for a bit of contrast between the black marker and the black paper. So now we're gonna move on to some toned paper. I wanted to be a little, thorough on this one and try something different. So we are going to swatch out all the colors here and do a nice illustration, but this time on toned paper. Obviously, from looking at all the swatches on 3 different colors of paper, you guys can see that the colors show up a little bit differently. And it's not drastic, it's not huge, but it's noticeable. So just remember that paper does play a big part in any artwork that you do, whether it's watercolor, markers, colored pencils, etc. So what I wanted to mention was that ultra flexible nib lended itself very nicely to this looser style that I was doing. If you want ultra precision, I don't think these markers will be for you because of the huge flexibility at the tip, but just for coloring and illustrating and having fun, I personally enjoyed them. I really like this illustration. It's whimsical, it's fun, and I was able to be a little bit looser, and I really just enjoyed these markers. They're perfectly fine to add to your art supply stash or to give as a gift or just to try them out. I bought my set on Amazon, and often things like this on Amazon will even go on sale, so maybe just keep it in your saved for later if you're curious and you want to try them out. So I will give a quick recap. I love that you can see the ink on the inside, obviously that they're non-toxic. The brand is on them. The name of the specific color is on them. They're so juicy that they stained the cap, but I really like that little tab here so that they don't roll off the table. Love that feature. I also love that the bottom part and the top part of the marker really match the ink on the inside. You don't always see that, but I'm warning you guys, they're very juicy, so they can be a little bit messy. It's a nice marker. It feels nice in your hand. Again, shorter than most markers, so if you have larger hands, it might bother you, but I don't think it should be that big of a deal. Not a fan of the ultra flexible little tippy tip, but if you're going for a looser style, this can definitely work to your advantage. So, as I mentioned earlier in the video, I brought them all out together in the sunlight to give you guys a better idea of the true colors, because I sat all over the house at all kinds of different times of the day, filmed and colored, and it's not always in the best lighting. So the colors are very bright, cheerful, and vibrant, and I really enjoyed them. So this cactus coral, I used every single color. This one I didn't, but I did swatch all the colors on the bottom, and I enjoy how they showed up on the tone paper. It was really fun, really whimsical, and that's what's nice about acrylic paint markers. It's something that really lends itself nicely to a more graphic style. Here's my fat little seahorse. Did not use every color, but all the colors I used are in the little left-hand part of the paper, more in the spine, but you guys can see I swatched all the colors on the left side, so I don't need to go on about that. Happy how it turned out on all the papers. I personally love how it showed up on the black the most. I was really surprised, just 1 to 2 layers, how nicely they reacted. Overall, for a 24 marker set, great colors were chosen. Love that there's brown. The colors are cheerful. And despite me complaining about the ultra flexible nib, I enjoyed it. How do you guys like my illustrations? Do you have a favorite? Are you guys going to try them? Do you have them? Let me know in the comments below. I can't wait to see what you guys have to say. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking it and subscribing it, and I will see you in the next video. Bye everyone.